Hey guys, day 8 here for crypto, PegNet, and DeFi videos. And today, in honor of my Bitcoin miner shirt, I'm going to talk about the token economics of PegNet. So this is a request I got through one of the social channels. Somebody was saying, just do a short video that explains what Peg does in the PegNet system. What are the token economics that underpin PegNet? So I'll do that real quick today. Um, let's start. We already talked in the last video about the importance of digital scarcity, right? And how Bitcoin and Ethereum have proven out that economic model, which is sort of the opposite of the federal central banking model of infinite supply, right? So take that digital scarcity and simply apply it to PegNet, right? There's a predictable supply curve of the number of peg that currently exist. 5,000 are rewarded every block to miners, and 5,000 every block to arbitrageurs. And so you can take that 10,000 per block and know what the supply is going to be in the future. So that is really building on the basic economic principles that Bitcoin and Ethereum and these other platforms have already proven the last 10 years. So not really inventing anything new there. But what's different about PegNet is it uses this burn and mint model that we've talked about before. So let's say you buy $1,000 of peg and you burn that into $1,000 of peg to gold. Great. Well, those peg that you burned are removed from the supply. They're removed from the system. They're not sent to somebody. They're not given to the miners. They're not stored in a pool. Nobody gets them. They're destroyed forever, right? So they're removed from the system. That burning model has proven really effective for groups like Binance and others, where they take a part of the activity that they're doing, whether it's fees in the system or something like that. They buy up their own token and they destroy it. Now in PegNet, there are no third parties. So it's 100% of the usage that goes towards burning, not 10% or 50%, but 100% of the usage in PegNet. All of those peg that are taken by users and burned into assets are destroyed. So this has been very interesting to watch. So far, we've seen about a little under 300 million peg burned out of the system. So that's roughly 10–15% of the total supply. So total supply has gone from 2 billion peg to 1.8 billion peg in the last couple of months. And so this is sort of driving the scarcity of peg in the system. There's other important functions of peg. Peg also serves as a means of reward for the miners, of course, but also a means of rewards for the arbitrageurs. And there's been a lot of thoughts about how to most closely reward those arbitrageurs with that peg. Today, they're getting pegged by converting P assets into peg. There's a proposal now, PIP 12, PegNet Improvement Proposal number 12, to just directly reward the arbitrageurs that are using P assets, so they won't have to do that conversion step. So there's a lot of thoughts and ideas about that, but those are sort of the different roles that peg plays in the system. And as more and more of these peg get burned, I think people are going to learn over time that they're really scarce, and that people need them in order to use the functions of the system. So the guy that's trading PBTC or PETH doesn't really care about the price of peg. He'll buy peg at whatever price it is because he's getting an equal amount of value regardless of what the price of peg is, and able to convert it into assets in the PegNet. So whether peg is a quarter penny or a dollar doesn't affect his calculus, because he's taking, let's say, $1,000 of value, buying peg and converting into $1,000 of pegged assets. So this model scales. It doesn't run out of peg. There'll always be more peg that's rewarded each block to the miners or the arbitrageurs in the system. And some people will always hold peg. They may have a long-term view and might not be willing to sell at any particular price. And so, there's sort of different users in the system. The folks that are using it for the trading function the people that are holding the native tokens, effectively providing liquidity to the network, if you will. And then there's these people that are doing the arbitrage functions and miners securing the data. So Peg really sort of provides support for all of these functions. It's the single variable token in the whole network. So there are 42 assets on PegNet, top 20 fiat, top 20 crypto, gold and silver. But Peg is the only one that has a variable price that isn't referencing some other asset. So you need that in the system in order to play these different roles. So to sum it up, token economics are very, very simple. There's a scarce and predictable supply of Peg. They're burned in order to put assets into the system, and that's very important because it's a proof on-chain of how much value is added. That is fully verifiable, and you don't need an audit or to trust some third party to know that happened. So these on-chain audits, this on-chain proof of how much value is in the system is pretty critical for the function of the PegNet. But I'll leave it there. I think the token economics are elegant because they're so simple. You can come up with sort of more and more elaborate ways of building token economic systems, but I think here the developers have come to a really good approach for how they've built the token economics of this system. They're clean, there aren't a lot of parties involved. It's really just the user, miners securing the oracles, and arbitrageurs balancing the prices. That's it. So anyway, I'll sign off there, but just to look at, is this working? Go to pegnetmarketcap.com. And I believe today, conversions inside the network crossed $66 million. So amazing to see how many people are using and converting value inside of PegNet, which is the whole point, people being able to rebalance their exposure into different crypto, stable coins, gold and silver. And so really glad to see those numbers continuing to tick up. It's sort of a great metric or KPI for how the network is growing. So I'll be watching that very, very closely. So thanks to everybody in the ecosystem that has done such an amazing job. There are more tools and things being released every day, and I'll cover those in a future video, I'm sure. Anyway, take care, guys. Wash your hands, be kind to one another, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.